Hello guys, Major Colton here with another build tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing the hybrid quad I have been using here recently. And honestly, I'd like to point out that the inspiration for this weapon setup did come from one of the people on my team named Phoenix X, when one day he was showing me something about a certain thing of sniper rifles and how, the UBRs were great with the back of them and how they shot real fast and all that good stuff. And really, I'm not using those sniper rifles anymore. It was like and all and all that good stuff. But I really, the idea that I finally have a way to use the good old UBRs from 5, and I really been looking for a way to use these, but without, sacrificing too much. Because honestly, you gotta use that Suffolk computer with them because they have that ungodly lock on time. But yeah, let's get straight into let's start off with the frame and all that good stuff. The frame itself is it's in around the middle ground between, it's got a little bit. I wanted to keep some armor on it, but at the same time have a little bit added, a tiny little bit more mobility than what you would see on a Fortress quad per se, or a heavy quad at least. So it's a lot lighter than that. As for the legs, I wanted to use the L4A 119 leg specifically so that I could meet the armor thresholds I was trying to buff over, at least get over the Lampords and battle rifles at least. And, I got the TE to buff out PMGs and a few pulse guns, I think. And, my recoil resistance is up at 1,597. So I think that we will be able to, let me just make sure. I think we're going to be able to buff out certain things like high speeds and whatnot. And there we go. Okay, this one has a, where is it? Impact 1412, we buffed that out. 1532, we buffed that out. In my opinion, those are really the only two people are going to be using, because all the other ones are just fire so not often to make them really not worth it, in my opinion. So let's get straight back into that. I don't know why I didn't mean to bump off, but as for the arms, AD 228s, simply because dual shoulder units plus added TE defense. And CB 209, we don't want to use the retrofit this time, so we can buff over the Lampords. And Kagaribi Model 1 head, and yours probably doesn't look like this. It's going to look like this one. Mine just looks different because I have a broken version. And we're going to want to use this simply because, it adds teeny tiny little bit of camera performance, but mostly for the stability computation for that, the impact force, as well as, TE armor. And, it's a little drainy, but I find that it's worth using in this situation, especially since it makes us faster to use it. So that's all, it's worth the sacrifices in my opinion. And, as I have said before, like, everybody has their own different little take on builds and whatnot. Everybody has their build tailored to their, so that it'll work for them, meet what they think is important, and do damages where they think that it's best, quite honestly, and in the ways they think are best. And obviously, if everybody thought the same, we'd see the same builds in every sortie, and just how boring would that be? So that's why I really like to make strides to put out content of just various ACs that probably people have never really used or thought of, or or at least just something different than the run amok that you see everyone using, all their cookie cutter metas and whatnot, and all that good stuff of cancer. But FCS wise, we're using the FA215 simply because we got 200 lock on range with the 170 lock computation. Why would I want to use such a short range thing and not use the long range thing? Well, if you use these, you wouldn't be able to use battle rifles. And really, these are the second, fastest lock computation in the game. And, with the little tiny bit of camera performance, it actually ups this a little over 200. So it's real good since I'm using the dual shoulders of subcomputers, the Mononofu Model 2. So that basically what this build is really meant to do, in case you haven't figured it out yet, is basically to switch between you know, pop shotting and battle rifle DPSing, like damage racing. So what this does, it'll give you the ability to really dynamically mix or completely swap back and forth of, really heavy duty defense and offense whenever the damage race is, able to be done when they got low enough CE. And really, like, if shit got real, you're probably gonna win the damage race. You get a lot of AP, and these have a lot of DPS and a lot of damage. And if you get feeling pressured, you can just backpedal or circle jerk and use your terrain to your advantage. Play smart and use these to go and get them little, those quick shoot 'em up 1-2 punches since they log on real quick and do a lot of damage. So either way, this build is really good for switching between damage racing and just all in all controlling the fight, like really having them do what you want them to do. One thing you could also do is, if they don't know you have these battle rifles here and they're weak to CE, is try to act like you're backpedaling and fire like a round in their general direction near the and good stuff like that. And when they run in trying to think, oh yeah, I'm gonna get behind them and I'm gonna DPS this guy, I'm gonna get close, he won't be able to lock on with his long range FCS. No, they're gonna get up and you're gonna have these things whipped out and waiting for them, and before they can even know what's happening, they've already lost so much health that they've pretty much already lost the battle in the long run. And that's really fun in my opinion because it fucks with people. As for the generator, we're going to want to use the GED G23 for the output, putting our energy recovery at around 3,790. And we're going to combine that with the Shinatsu's, the BA309s, which will allow us, while in scan mode, to have pretty substantial glide boosting, so we will be able to actually cover a very large amount of distance and with the lower capacity that we have. And as for the recon unit, I like to use the REX A13s because you can simultaneously 5 different ones out at varying locations with each their own, 320 recon range, and they've all stay there for pretty long time, as you can tell with the 9,000 operational time. And as for weapons, everything, I have all of them set to, full power, and I think I forgot to mention, the first sniper on the list, the AM SRA 133, and the reason why you want to use these with this is because they have that low 149 base lock-on time, so that you can really have the low lock-on time. I mean, you could slap these on, but with that, like 120-ish added reload time, and overall, you'll do more damage over time in the same amount of time with these that these would have. You'll do more damage with these simply because you can fire more rounds in that amount of time. So that's always good. And unless you just want a super hardcore, just nothing but like pop out of cover, fire, go back into cover, that kind of crap. But I like to being able to be a little bit more flexible in my shooting, so I like to use these. And well, I think that's all there is really to this build. If you like the build, comment, like, subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next video.